Hello there. Welcome to the Kirk Minahan wrap-up show for April 2nd, 2021. I am joined by, as always, by my Friday partner, Blind Owl. How's it going, Blind Owl?
Oh, living the dream, hooting up a storm here.
Living the dream. Yeah, so today's show was posted a little bit later than usual. I think we've been kind of spoiled these past couple months with midnight or 6 a.m. dropping. So as soon as you wake up, it's up and good to go. But lucky for me, when I woke up today, the show was already posted. So I was up, the show got posted around, I'd say, what was it, like around 2-ish?
2:30?
Yeah. Got posted. It was a quick one, only an hour and 10 minutes. But Steve and Kirk,
Hey.
I'll get into it in a little bit, but I think Steve and Kirk have put so much effort into the case this past month in March that it's starting to take a toll on not necessarily the show, but I think I want to get into it about why I think Steve was so hyped up about today. Yeah, I think he finally cracked. So today's show was called We're Sorry. Obviously, there was a Julie DeCaro cut where she went on NPR, the taxpayer-funded NPR, and the host proceeded to chop his balls off and hand them to Julie in what I can only say is the most demasculating thing I've ever heard in my entire life. When he says things such as, "Oh, it's I apologize not for myself, but on behalf of all men and everyone in the sports journalism." Even Julie DeCaro started laughing.
Yeah,
even she was like, "Okay, this is fucking weird." When she started going off and doing things like that. So that's what the title. So I said in the tweet that I was going to apologize to you on behalf of all able-bodied people.
Yes.
I'm just sorry.
You really should be. I've been held back for too long. I played sports against UCites and I was beaten up severely. So I blame you personally.
Yeah, no, you should.
And I should conditionally accept your apology.
So, yes, I'm very thankful and grateful that you accept said apology. Yes. But so I want to get today, in my opinion, was at least the first half was not the Kirk Minahan show.
No,
it was the Big Steve Robinson show.
It was good.
He came off on a heater. That's the only way I can describe it. Is he just went off and he was just like, you know what? Fuck it. We're talking about this. Half the things he was talking about, I didn't even know was going on. Like I see him retweet stuff about this Georgia new voting law and this Hunter Biden laptop story. But I think he finally cracked. I think he's been so overworked, not necessarily overworked, but he's just been so busy with the case and the Kirk Minahan show. And like Kirk said, he's never worked with a producer who's ever worked harder than Steve. And I think finally today, I think at one point he says, like, listen, like I'm on the verge of a mental breakdown. And I truly think the libs taking over his life mixed with just the amount of work he's been on. I think Big Steve, I think he should get a well-deserved vacation after the case is all finished up. And he should go away in the mountains of Montana for like a week and maybe strangle a bear or do something. So,
you can only, when you've done something for so long and you can only, Kirk doesn't like to talk about all that, the classic talking points of the Republican Party. And when you hold back for so long, plus doing the case, you just have to have a day where you just let it go. And it just came talking about voting laws and God knows that guy, and who's the guy that's bringing 17-year-olds across state lines?
Matt Gaetz.
Yeah. He just had to get it all out. He just had to just let it rip.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is why I think Robinson Report. Obviously now he's way too busy, but I think a Robinson Report once a week or maybe once every 2 weeks would be absolutely fire. Just to get the real SC out there, and he can just rip apart whatever he wants to.
Yeah.
But so I think the start of today's show necessarily, I think Kirk kind of stepped out of the way and said, Steve, you deserve this. You deserve to just go on this rant about this crazy, this guy who's sex trafficking or something like that, and the Hunter Biden stuff. And I I see he's been retweeting shit all day about that.
All over it.
So I
Couldn't
think
give Blind Owl Blogs a retweet though. See,
no. I mean, well,
it's okay.
Listen,
That's okay.
he's not that much in a bad place in his head right now.
I get it. We're all desperate at sometimes.
But it's just I loved it. I love to hear the passion in Steve's voice. I'm not saying he's normally not passionate, but normally we don't get that about him. Normally he'll just like, the only other times you hear him this passionate is when he's talking about people who constantly try to get him fired from Barstool and from the Kirk Minahan show. He'll be like, "What?"
I'm wondering if he maybe, because I know he's married, obviously. I wonder if his wife is a big lib, right? I think he said that before, and I'm wondering if there was some. I'm wondering, not tension at home, but something came up and he's not allowed to talk about it.
I have no idea. Yeah, I'm not. I have no idea. I'm not gonna speculate. Steve got
those with significant others. There's some things you just can't talk about, and sometimes work is the one place you can talk about it. That's what you want to talk about. So
maybe I don't think. Yeah, I'm not going to speculate and say that Steve got into a fight with his wife.
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying maybe he's been bottled up for so long at home that he finally just exploded.
Well, I like to think.
It's great.
I like to think that Steve has a healthy relationship with his wife, and they can talk about anything with each other.
Every relationship has lies. That's what relationships are built on, my friend.
Oh, okay. Learn something new every day. But no, yeah, I thought it was great. He came out on an absolute heater. He could have gone, I think, for 4 hours. He came in early. That's another thing I wanted to get to, was that sadly there was no Carabas today because of. I blame the Red Sox 1,000,000%, and I don't blame them for the fact that, like, I don't blame Carabas because the Red Sox canceled yesterday's season opener, which did not need to be canceled.
No, it's the Tigers played in a fucking blizzard.
Yes, it did not need to be canceled. They pushed it back to 1:10 today. Carabas, I believe he was at the game.
Yeah, that's his job. He has to do what he has to do. You know?
Yes, I mean he's the Red Sox guy at Barstool, and he's based out of Boston. So he definitely it was definitely disappointing when I heard that when Kirk said Carabas will not be joining us today. But I mean, I understood. I mean, the guy's the baseball reporter.
It's what he has to do. It's his primary job.
It'd be kind of selfish to be like, no, like absolutely not. There's no way we'll let you back on the show if you cover Red Sox opening day. This wasn't like some.
If the game was at 7 tonight or whatever, if it wasn't at 2:10, I think he would have been on the show.
Oh, I agree. And I also think that if this was some bumfuck game in May against the San Francisco Giants.
Ooh, interleague play in May. Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. Is that a thing?
I don't know.
But if I think Carabas would have. I know that he said multiple times he loves doing the show. So I think this was a tough decision for him. But it was definitely disappointing. But what made up for it was the callers were incredible today. We had Donald Trump. We had Crying Blind Mike, of whom I feel like we haven't heard him, since what?
Personal fit. Since Mike came back.
Yeah, since I know he had a couple of calls in like September, October, but I mean, it seems Mike hasn't been crying as much lately. No, and he came back. He was great. The president was great. I feel like the calls really stepped up today. There were a couple of duds, like, Elmo didn't really work out.
No, that was a bad. You also didn't sound like Elmo.
Yeah, I think the pimp. I believe his name is Pimp Ryan Minahan. I know he has some distaste for me, but I found his call today to be very, very funny.
It wasn't one of my favorites, but it was solid. It was
good.
Call.
It was a good. I'll tell you, if he called in with that call on Monday or Wednesday, that would have been the top call.
The best call
either day.
Can I tell you one of my favorites, and it centers around Steve, is when he aborts somebody, and that time in between each abortion sound.
Yeah, they're like, come on.
That is so funny. I love every second of it.
So yeah, Steve was aborting left and right today. He was mostly aborting a certain sex. He did abort Dino Raja at the end there.
Oh, that's a woman. That's so there you go.
Is that?
No, I just made that up.
Yeah, I was like, I thought that was a Celtic basketball player. I was like, Jesus Christ. I got people telling me that there's an election coming up in 2021. I got people telling me Dino Raja's a woman. I don't know.
Sorry to misgender him if I did.
Oh my God. But yeah, no, it was Steve was on a heater today. And I like to see that out of him.
We need more of that from Steve. We need more of him.
Yeah, but also like I'm not. I think it came out of him being not tired, but like just kind of like not overworked, but just he's been so busy these past couple weeks with the case. I know they've been spending hours and hours every day, going through each line, making sure, dealing with some serious stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
So
I mean, you got to have that outlet of just what you're used to talking about, and that's what he's used to talking about and what he wanted to talk about. So Kirk was like, "Let him go. He's on a roll."
I would like to say at one point though he did say that he has all of his assets not in the United States government, not in the United States currency. And I think that's a little out there.
How does he pay for things? Because you need a debit card or cash, and that's United States currency.
You might just get paid in Bitcoin. I'm not entirely sure.
No, but how does he buy when he goes to Chick-fil-A or McDonald's? How does he get his McDoubles?
Yeah, I have no idea. But it was very, very interesting. The other thing that kind of happened after the show was that, I don't know if you saw my post, but the MLB took the All-Star game and the MLB draft out of Atlanta, Georgia for
them requiring an ID when you vote, which you need when you buy Sudafed.
Correct. So for what they are calling, what the left is calling suppressive voter laws, like requiring an ID, which I have no idea.
So can I go on a rant here for a moment?
Go for it.
So when you register to vote, and you even register for your mail-in ballot, which I don't have a problem with, I did it this year, you need to provide an ID number. And I did so, and I do not have a driver's license, and I have a ID state issued, which everyone in America can get. It was $25. I get if some people can't afford it, but and yet you need an ID to register. Yet you cannot. It's not required to bring said ID when you go to vote.
I don't know.
I've never had to give an ID. I could give your name in wherever you live and say, "Yeah, I'm Justin. Here I am. I'm ready to vote."
I guess I have no idea. That's not my cup of tea. But
I apologize. Go on.
The point I was getting to was that I saw Julie DeCaro on Twitter is now petitioning the PGA to move the Masters next week, which I found out a couple things through this. Is one, the PGA has no control over the Masters. Two, the Masters have been held at the same place since, I think it was like 1950.
And let's talk about what was happening in Georgia in 1950.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it survived this long?
It's like, no, it's not going to get postponed. And three, no. Three. No, three is, if the Masters does get postponed, I will, like.
It won't. Augusta National will just tell them to go fuck themselves. And the tournament, if the PGA orders them to move it, they'll be like, go fuck yourself. We're not moving it. So you're not having the Masters this year. And that's one of the PGA's biggest money draws. So they'd be like, all right, we'll play at Augusta. That's fine. Which they should. Yeah. It's a freaking golf course.
Yeah. So that's what I'm looking forward to is Julie DeCaro this next week, just petitioning the Masters and talking about how there's all these white men in their mentions, and, talking about how golf is more important than voting rights and all this other bullshit.
Why does it fucking matter where things happen? Answer me that, Justin.
I'm sure Julie DeCaro wasn't, bitching to the WWE when they held that Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, I bet. Actually, knowing her, she would bitch about the WWE existing.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't allowed to bring any women. Where was she on that?
No,
what about the NFL players playing in Mexico City every year, where they literally need to be quarantined in their hotel room because it's so dangerous and the water and everything like that. So
how about the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay?
That's right. I know she did bitch a lot about that.
She bitches about everything.
Yeah, she bitches about everything nowadays.
But can I go back to the guy who was on NPR saying, I apologize. We've all had to do things that we don't want to do and say things we don't want to say.
Yes.
I'm a teacher. I do it every single day. But that guy, there's one thing to just read a statement and be like, yeah, this is what I have to say. Blah, 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 blah. There's another thing to just completely sell out and just totally just drop your nuts right on the table and say, "Here you go, Julie. They're all yours."
See, the more I think about it, the more I respect him for doing it.
What?
Because I think it takes, I think just the amount of self-loathing you must have in order to have a guest on and say, listen, I apologize on behalf of everyone for the trials and tribulations that you have faced in your life. Like he must have thought that up. I don't think he came up with it on the spot. I think he sat down and he said, hey, as soon as Julie comes on, I'm going to apologize. And I find that hilarious. I don't find it the same hilarious in the way he would like it to be hilarious, but I think it provides good content. It's cringy content. I want to listen to that man's show now to see what else he apologizes for. Is he calling up, I don't know, is he calling up, Britain apologizing for, like not taking taxes in 1776? I don't know what the fuck where I was going with that.
I have English descent. Should I apologize to people that England
Everyone
colonized?
should just apologize for everyone. It should be a big circle jerk of everyone just
apologizing. I'm sorry.
Everyone
I feel like I did something to you.
But at the end of the line, there's one person who is deemed she doesn't need to apologize, or they don't need to apologize.
Julie Jacaro, because she feels like she's better than everybody, even though. So she's white. Shouldn't she apologize for?
So
reparations for slavery. That's what she should do.
Like I said, I would like to apologize to Julie Jacaro too, on behalf of the entire male race, everything we've done.
She should apologize to me and Mike for taking down the video. I was trying to listen to her book.
It's kind of fucked. And I believe she has said on multiple occasions that the point of her book was for people to hear the content, and it wasn't to make money. It was to
hear it,
to put the content out there. She didn't really care about that. So that's what I was doing. I was opening it up to thousands of people. But whatever. She can.
The blind community respects you. You're as I tweeted, I think it was yesterday. You're an ally to the blind community, Justin.
I try. I'm not too far away there myself.
Oh, but, well, you can read. That's a bonus.
I can read. That is a bonus. But,
I can kind of. It's not very great.
So the last thing I wanted to say is today was the last Kirk Minahan show without the case. The case drops Monday. It sounds like at noon.
At noon, yeah, that's exciting.
It's going to be interesting to see when the Kirk Minahan show drops and what they will talk about, because I'm sure it's going to be kind of talking about the dropping of the case. So
I bet they do a Sunday night recording and talk about the case dropping. That's what I would.
Yes, I believe. Yeah, I mean they've mostly done Sunday night recordings for most Monday shows, but so they're going to go along with that. I'm interested to see what path the Kirk Minahan show takes during the whole during the length of the case season 1. I'm interested obviously into seeing what happens in the case. And we have this Boston guy. I did like how Steve and Kirk today were both like, please, for the love of God, don't get involved in this. People
that's just begging them. They did what they had to do, but that is just saying not to do it. Some of these Minifans, that's asking them to do it.
But also sadly, I think they need to say don't do it, because otherwise, someone will be trying to have a live show outside.
Could be
of
legal ramifications as well.
Yeah. So when I got that when Steve did the whole cops intro, where he was like, everyone featured in the case is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. But no. Otherwise, I think it was a fun show today.
No, it had kind of had an old. I would say it almost had an old Kirk and Callahan feel, in my opinion.
I could see that. I never listened to Kirk and Callahan, but
it had Kirk playing off Steve's right wing theories, and it had the callers calling in, and not that Donald Trump ever called in the Kirk and Callahan show, but it just kind of had that old, and they mocked somebody, and then it just kind of had that feel, and I kind of I liked it.
Did Donald Trump? I thought Kirk said he was the reason.
I mean, yes, President Trump did call. Yeah, he won. That's why he won the New Hampshire primary.
That's what. Yeah, but I mean, he's kept on calling. There was one caller today who I think made a very bad point about KFC. I think there's a lot you can bitch about when it comes to KFC.
Yeah, of course.
But to say that he's rooting against the case or anything like that, I think it's just that he's got so much on his plate right now. He's doing KFC Radio, Friday Night Pints, the Kevin Clancy Show.
The Rundown, all that stuff.
Rundown. So he's as busy as ever. when it comes to this stuff. I know he.
Yeah, I think it's just he's not as outwardly doing it as someone like Big Cat or whoever else tweeted. I know Erica tweeted. He's not as into it as that. He's got his own thing going on, but he mentioned it on that rundown. I went and watched it. He mentioned it. He did what he could.
Yes, and also, I mean, you can tell like him and Kirk are on good standing because the way Kirk found the guy apologizing to DeCaro was, I believe he said that KFC texted him.
Yeah, I think he said Kevin Clancy sent it to him. So that's
good to see. Hopefully Kevin will join the show one of these weeks. And
although it is funny to see KFC complaining about somebody being unfaithful on.
I don't know what you mean. So with that, I love KFC.
I know. I'm a KFC guy. It's just funny.
He's a funny guy.
Yeah.
Even though there was a lot of.
I saw you brandishing a weapon on Monday's show.
Oh, yeah.
I figured I would brandish one as well.
Machete right here. So I don't know what to do. I don't know. Keith has a sword, so I have a machete.
Got a pocket knife.
There you go. Look at us, bunch of hoodlums. So anything else you want to say?
No, I mean, read Blind Owl blogs. Go to blindowlblogs.com. I finally bought the URL. So
awesome.
Exciting stuff.
Yep. So thank you to everyone who is listening. Make sure if you're listening on Twitch that you hit that follow button because this is where you're going to get live wrap-up shows, and I plan on maybe doing some pre-shows for the case and other things like that. So please make sure to follow here to get them live. I will be posting mostly everything on YouTube and on the KMS wrap-up show RSS feed. But thank you to everyone who listened, and I will talk to you guys on Monday.